This is the OMFL.
You can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with Kinda Real Name. Here's another OMFL production.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to a super late Press Pass Live, but it's the holidays, and that's what happens during the holidays because the wife is home, the wife is off, and we're doing kind of like the family thing, but it's all good. We're going to do a little Press Pass Live action. My guy Win cannot hang out with me tonight, so I'm flying solo. This is not what I wanted because I actually have the new one, and I forgot to set it up, so let me go ahead and put it on the new one. This is going to be what the stream is going to look like going forward. I'm not finished with it, still playing with it, still trying to get it exactly where I want it. But new logo, some new colors, kind of going with some black and white theme situation. It should be fun. So I messed with it a little bit today and kind of got it close so that I can unveil it tonight. And wanted to go ahead and get it on here, and then we'll see where it goes. So let's get over to the overlay. Oh, well, look at there. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to turn on that. It's probably going to be real helpful to have turned on. All right, so Win was supposed to be with me tonight, and things just went way too late, and he wasn't able to join me. I was hoping to be able to get him on because he was going to break down his latest live stream that he did for MLB The Show. So he did a live stream for MLB The Show and looking at the scouting in MLB The Show and how it could come over to Madden, at least be something that we could look very closely to as a possibility of what Madden's is going to look like with the different scouting areas, the different scouts, the different tiers, and kind of where each of those scouts kind of do their thing. So make sure you go check that out. It's on our playlist on I think we got a playlist up there for some Madden news. You're also going to see some other new playlists that we got up there for Win, his NHL franchise. I think he's about to start doing some franchise streaming for Head Coach 09, which is one I think, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but probably one of his top 3 favorite all-time games, top 5 at least. I got a little wasp or bug or moth or something, not wasp, moth or something flying around here. That's what happens when the doors are open all night in Louisiana for fireworks. But instead, I just want to, it's just me here tonight, and I don't think anybody's going to be joining me. Is one of you hanging out with me, but it's 11:30 at night. It's midnight. It's past midnight for a lot of people who've got to go to work tomorrow. I'm off, luckily, and so I'm going to just be hanging out and figured I just kind of want to talk about 2 of the possible big changes. So every time we change Madden cycles, I go and take a look at our complete rule list, both general player movement, offensive rules, defensive rules, and start to look at what does the new game kind of open up for us to get rid of. And it's always a fine line, and usually what you'll notice is we'll get rid of 5 or 6 things, and then throughout that Madden, 3 or 4 start to creep back in, right? And then we'll get rid of 5 or 6 more, and 2 or 3 or 4 start to creep back in. It's just the way it goes sometimes, where we think we can get rid of something. In actuality, we probably can't, or we can get rid of it for a little bit and then people start to abuse it and things start to come back. But there's 2 big areas. There's actually like 15 posts that I have up in the boardroom right now, just looking at all of the different areas of our rule book. And I've just got through players or general rules, offensive rules, and I'm about to start on defense and players tomorrow and get the rest of my thoughts up there. And most of them are just like placeholders while we kind of have discussions as the game drops. But I played a ton of the beta and really feel like we've got an idea about the direction that the game is going to be going. Now, of course, things can change, and things are going to change even after the game's out, right? Because they're going to be doing updates, they're going to have live updates. They may completely change the game depending on how it goes. So things will be fluid for a little bit, but the 2 big areas are going to be around trades and around offensive gameplay. And so trades are always a big one. So the way trades work in the OMFL is we have an amazing trade calculator, which is a spreadsheet that Rob put together for us. And he's the mastermind. I gave him my idea. There were some old tools years ago that somebody had created that he kind of put his own twist on, and that was early on. I want to say 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And over the years, Rob has really turned it into an amazing tool. I don't think people give Rob nearly as much credit as he deserves for that tool. And it's a lot of work. And Rob has poured hours and hours into that. A little bit of my concern is that it's a new game. You can see this little moth. Look at my little moth friend. I don't know if y'all could see him, but he keeps coming back. With the new game, with no abilities, if we end up going that direction, which I really think we are going, it's just because some of the abilities are just stupid, overpowered, and it kind of ruins the whole batch. And it's just not that fun, to be honest. I just find the game is more pure and when it's just kind of taken down to the lowest common denominator, which is no ability. So as of right now, it's going to be abilities are going to be off. So that means the calculators are going to have to be readjusted. And then the addition of coaches, because coaches and player personnel coaches all have packages that let you get more for your draft picks or let you get aging players at a cheaper discount. Well, all of those go away as a league if we don't have those same benefits in the league. And so I've been really racking my brain about, how could we do this in such a way that we don't have to put as much work in that calculator. I'm also not promised that Rob is going to put any more work in the calculator. He's been so generous with his time, with his talent over the years. We're just not promised that forever, right? And so even though I want to continue to create places for really talented people to plug those talents in, because we need them, we want them, I want to create that space. When we have such a big tool that's so reliant on one person, if Rob decides, hey, like, I just don't have the time, or life has changed, I don't want to put the time into it, or if he just decides he doesn't want to play here anymore, we have a big tool that can't be updated, and it really handicaps us. And so I'm always thinking, how can I go simpler? I'm going to catch this little booger. Where'd he go? Oh, it flew off. How can we go simpler to where owners don't have, I think some, not all, but some of the owner disengagement here is because we try to get so creative. We try to get, we've had such a franchise that needed so much micromanaging that it's just easier for guys who are like, I don't have all those hours I'm not going to trade. I'm not going to worry about free agents or draft picks. And so they just kind of unplug. And so I'm thinking, can we make it easier, simpler, don't need the tool, can use those new coaches? And that's the concept in my head. And so originally, you can go into Madden and you can submit trades, and they kind of give you a bar, right, of how interested. That's actually not going to work, because A, you don't see the bar until after you submit the trade, and B, it's just like an interest thing determined by Madden if one team's interested and the other isn't, and it just doesn't work for users. And so I'm really racking my brain right now around how could we use what the game offers us with the least amount of like systems and things that we have to touch and get involved in to help make that work. I'm just checking something real quick. Yeah, cool. And I don't have those answers. That was going to be something I was going to talk with Win tonight. Again, the original idea was, okay, you can have 3 per, gives you a little bar, submit trades that are always green, and if the game accepts it and you're like, you're good with it, right? You can do that. And thanks, Boom. Appreciate the sub, man. It's lonely tonight. Usually it's not this lonely. Usually we got a whole bunch of guys here tonight. It's the 4th, though. People have been barbecuing. Some people have to go to work tomorrow. So it's quiet tonight. So come back, Boom, and hang out with us. I appreciate you subscribing. So that's going to be the big thing about Madden 22 is it creates all of these new tools. How do we make things simpler and begin to create the engagement in the game franchise, and not as much engagement in the tools that we've had to create because of the lack of franchise stuff. So that's where I'm at, and I'm open to ideas. Again, I should have done this press pass. I should have pushed it till tomorrow, but it didn't. I wanted to do it tonight. I was like, I already set up. I'm committed. Let's roll with it. Matter of fact, I'll probably play this game tomorrow, the one that you see on the screen. This is our summer league right now. So we're pausing from our regular league and just doing a summer league. There's only 10, 12 of us, whatever it is, playing in this one. It's just a for fun thing, just to keep us busy until the new game drops. But the big thing, I'm a little confused by that, Maniac. You got to say that to me another one. I'm sorry, I paused. It's not the greatest stream when somebody just pauses. There's something there. I got to figure it out. And we got too many creative people here, too many smart people here that we can't figure it out. But we may just stick with the old system. I mean, that may be what we have to do. But I would love to figure out, how do we access the new coaching trees, the new coaching abilities, the perks that come when you build out a coach, and do it in a way where somebody doesn't have to, download a calculator, plug a bunch of players in, take photos, find people. Because what happens, I mean, we see it. The D-monies, the the Moes, the guys who are willing to work the process and go, really pursue, they get all the deals. And the guys, half the league who's either disengaged or busy, they miss out because it isn't an easy thing to do. Even if there are players that are interested, right? Usually the guy pursuing has to go do all the work. Oh no, I don't think so, Maniac. Look, I think we had to do what we had to do with a very copy cut paste franchise mode for years and years and years, and it was like, how do we create engagement? And those were our answers to creating that engagement. And it just, there are better ways to do that with the new franchise. And so I don't have the answers around the trade just yet. I mean, the trades were basically the same. I just wish there were a better way to kind of gauge like the value of players. Like if it's like free agency, where it's like, just like NFL does. If you add this pick and this player, it's going to be this many points combined, right? This is the value, just like they do in free agency. Like if I offer this contract, it gives you a number, 100 points or whatever it is, right? If it did a value system, boy, that would be problem solved. But really there isn't, right? There isn't any type of value. There isn't really anything that we can go by here. It's going to look exactly like this. And it's just the interest levels of high, medium, and low. So I don't know. I'm going to keep thinking about that. But that was a big piece that's going to be coming up in Madden 22 that I really want to figure out. Do we have to stick with the old system? Do we need to stick with the trade calculator? Or can we open it up and create more engagement on the actual franchise? Because I think if you put these controllers in people's hands, make them get on the game, we're creating more engagement. Now you can get PlayStation Remote on your phone. It's just easy to get on your actual console. And so it just creates a lot of opportunities for us. And I just got to keep racking the brain. I got to keep thinking about, how could we do it? What could we do? Maniac, it looks like it's just me and you tonight. Again, I know I'm doing this super late, so most of the guys will watch this tomorrow when it comes out. So I'd love to hear any ideas that you have. I know Daddy Leagues has kind of like a trade calculator rating system, but it's not perfect either. Maybe it's something that we look at, but again, if we start using tools that are off the franchise, I kind of rather just use our own custom tools like we have. But there's a lot of reason, right, that I really would like to figure out an in-game system. The other one, this one's going to be tough, and I know there's going to be some immediate reaction. So, the beta, we played a lot. It was all comp. I don't think we played any sim because you couldn't play franchise games, and so we couldn't set sim there, and online games are already set to comp. I'm really leaning to comp, no abilities. That's where I'm leaning. We're going to have probably 2 to 4 weeks to play and really figure out exactly what we want, right? What kind of settings we want. So we're going to probably put up multiple franchises, comp, sim, abilities, no abilities, and just test a whole bunch of stuff. I really think I said this last Madden, and I tried to stick to it, and I kind of got talked out of it and talked away from it. I really do trust some of those sliders that we've been using. I don't know why my name's even slipping my mind right now. Let me pull it up because I have it pulled up. What's his name? I guess I don't have it pulled up anymore. I thought I did. Help me out, Maniac. I know you know his name. Matt. That's it. Matt 10. I really trust Matt 10's sliders because he puts so much time and energy and effort. But I also really know the frustration that we went through last Madden. It's terrible. I really, really think we're going to go 50s across the board and then play and then start making adjustments from there. And maybe it's a balancing act between doing that and looking at Matt's and just kind of comparing. I think speed's going to be the biggest one. Injury, we know, is going to be a big one. Fatigue actually felt really good, so I don't know that we're going to have to touch fatigue that much. run blocking is probably going to be a big one. Pass defense is probably going to be a big one. Everything else felt pretty good, close to 50. So hopefully not. So yeah, it's there's going to be a lot of discussions, a lot of time to figure out our sliders. With that said, I know there's not going to be some fans, right? There's going to be some non-fans as we had last Madden. I think, it just depends on how this game plays. But I think we're always going to have slightly more than majority are going to want all pro. But I think we're going to have to look at all Madden, even though I know it's going to get shot down. And I think some guys just have brain blocks when it comes to all Madden. And it is hard. It is very, very hard. But if we can go all pro comp, I think it does make it challenging for our top guys, but not so challenging that the bottom guys can't have an opportunity to win in this league. And that's the balancing act that we're always going to have in this league, is because we do have some real top dudes. I've always said it. Mo, D. Wayne, D. Money, maybe even a couple other ones. Kobe, right? Like some of these dudes could probably be professional players. D. Money, I think he'd immediately quit his job and be a professional player right now, be ranked in the top 3 in the world. I mean, that dude's stupid. He sleptwalked through last Madden and still won a championship. So anyway, we always have to create something that's challenging for them, but not so challenging where the guys like me feel like they just don't have a chance as soon as they step on the field. So the thing I'm playing with now is I have submitted a ton of ideas to the board, placeholders for now, but going off of my knowledge of the beta. What could we do to open things up for the offense, right? Look, we've been saying this. We know the days of single back, full back offenses, 3 yards in a pile of dust are gone. Those days are dead. We also know that Madden does not correlate everything really well over to Madden, right? I still think shotgun runs 90% of the time are going to give you 5 to 12 yards. Easy. No real energy or effort put in. So I'm not saying let's open it up where we can have shotgun offenses and a ton of shotgun runs. But could we open it up to start allowing more single back formations? Could we open it up for some teams to build a nickel defense team, right? New Orleans Saints run, I think, 75% nickel defense. They don't even come out in what we would consider a base formation. Could we? It's just a conversation around, could we begin to allow some of those things? Because if you come out in a nickel and you play a win, probably not a great example, but win's more an old-fashioned, I'm just going to line up helmet on helmet and try to just beat you to death in the middle. If you're running nickel defense, you're going to get beat up, right? You're going to get ran on. Guys can adjust their gameplay and come after it. So if you go and build your defense to be a nickel defense because you want the speed, you want the athleticism to defend the pass, you're going to give up a lot of run. Same thing about guys who can build more of a whole-rounded team, right? They're going to have to mess with salary cap and whatnot. And then on offense, which is the big section that I want to talk about tonight, is could we begin to allow for more 3-wide offenses, right? Guys who don't want to invest or can't invest in a fullback, don't want to invest, can't invest in a tight end, right? And they want to start bringing in the 3 wides. They want to start running the kind of spread offense and spread you out. Again, I'm just going by a couple of hours of gameplay from a beta. Things can completely change, but it felt like overall it defended the normal single back formation runs much, much better than it has in the past. Shotgun runs, a totally different subject. I still think that those are way overpowered and just kind of you get gashed, but could we begin to lighten our rules in a way that still feels fair, still feels competitive, because the other things still guide our gameplay, right? We're still going to have a play limit. Maybe the play limit goes down now. I think the play limit is 5 right now, even though defense, it would be tough. But, the play limit is still going to be keeping people from running the same plays over and over. The play cooldown is going to keep people from running the same plays over and over. We still have the majority rule. Can't do anything a majority of the time. And so even if we say, we can run, a 3-wide offense, a single back 3-wide offense. You can run 3 wides. Like 3 wides will be a base formation if you choose. Nickelback could be a base formation. You still got to mix up those plays. You still got to mix up your man, your zone, your blitz. You still got to mix up the type of plays that you're calling and kind of how you're doing it. So it's just an early conversation right now, but I think it's worth having, at least looking at, because the NFL has completely changed and the players are changing. And I think this would create some more creativity on both sides of the ball. I think it would open up some different styles of gameplay that we don't really see a lot of here, right? What happened? We opened it up to 2 tight end. D-Money had a lot of success running 2 tight ends. We've seen a lot of teams start going 2 tight ends on offense, right? They started getting rid of that fullback. You've seen us get rid of our rule around forcing you to keep a fullback. It's a dying breed. But somebody like me, I'm always going to have a fullback because I love strong. I love, eye farm. Now, I don't think we're going to change around bunch and closed. I still, for the life of me, can't understand why if I run a closed offensive formation and you run a man defense, your cornerbacks line up 4 yards, 6 yards outside of the receiver. It's just like if you run a drag route, I mean, that guy's crispy. There's no physical way for him to keep up with that. And even if you bump them, right, number one, if you bump them and they whiff on the bump, burnt. But even if you bump them, they just come in a little closer. They're still 2, sometimes 3 yards away from the receiver. It's going to be one of the things I need to submit. It's like, if they come out in a closed formation, line my dudes up, man. Put them helmet on helmet so I don't get burnt on those drag routes so much. So I just think it's worth the conversation to see, could we allow, any single back formation to be considered. Mo, you're something else, bro. Could we allow single back to be considered a base formation? Could we allow nickelback to be considered a base formation on defense to open up some creativity, to open up playbooks? I do think Madden 22 is going to defend those better. They don't defend the shotgun runs. Mo, I may have the best hair, but you, sir, are still in the pockets of EA, and I've been playing this game for 21. I've been running the OMFL Madden League for 21 years, and no one even knows my name. So clearly, you are the man, and I am not. I must be my camera, which I'm excited to say. I talked my wife into investing into a new camera today, so we'll see. Mo, nobody wants my opinion, but I appreciate you. I love me some Mo. Even though I went back, Mo. Y'all were like, "Oh, that was an early podcast." I finally forced myself to sit down and just like turn it on and listen to some. And so I listened to the one with you and Brady. I always say Bradley. You and Bradley? Nah, man. You were way more like sterile. It's like a sterile version of Mo. And the Mo that was on that podcast the other night, that's the Mo. That's the Mo that everybody needs to meet more often. Anyway, I do work out 6 days a week. But if you ever see me in person, you're like, oh, do you really? Because I don't look like it. I work out way harder than what my 41-year-old body shows. Anyway, that's the conversation. Can we create new systems that allow us to use the stuff in game and not so much the custom tools that we've had created It alleviates the pressure on Rob to keep those things updated, to keep those things going. If Rob, changes his mind, doesn't ever want to play here or whatever, right? We're not tied to one individual, one custom tool. Can we create things that get people plugging into the game, turning on the franchise, logging into the franchise? Of course, Discord is awesome, and the forums are awesome, the websites are awesome, but there's something about, because I remember back in 01, 02, 03, right, PC days, there's something about physically being on your franchise. And so we can figure out the trade thing to allow people to physically be plugged in to the franchise. I think it would open up all kinds of cool areas. Also, if you are joining us late, you got to excuse some of the weird things that are happening here in my stream. That's really small. I'm making changes. As you can see, this is going to be the new overlay right here that's going to be coming out. I just did this page today, and this page has not gotten updated. And the starting soon screen, they'll be right back. None of that has been updated, and so we're gonna get those updated. I just wanted to get something out today and get it tried and tested and see how it went. And so happy with it. I can't wait to get the new camera. It's gonna be awesome. We have to relearn everything though. I'm gonna have 2 cameras, and that'll be cool to be able to have 2 cameras, have maybe some different angles, maybe set this one up over there, have the new camera here. It'll be, thank you, Maniac. I've went through 1 billion personal logos. I just never found something I liked. I gotta admit, I'm not like in love with this one, but I paid for somebody to make me one because I felt like my logo was so personal to me. I couldn't make up my mind, and so I had to pay somebody to make me one. This is what they came out with. They came out with a couple different options. This is the one I liked the most, and God, you're too much. So anyway, this is my colors. I'm going with black and white. I'm on a black and white kick right now. I want to do my whole house in black and white. I'm just on a black and white kick right now. So anyway, it's gonna be black and white theme with my colors on my logo. Also, if you subscribe to my personal channel, which is currently what's the word? Branded. That's the word I'm looking for. Under my church, we pastor a community. That's gonna be changing. I've kind of made the decision. We'll spit it out. That I made the decision. I'm gonna personally brand it. So it's gonna go away from my church brand to my personal brand, and then I'm gonna have playlists for my church. I just think that'll help people engage with me a little bit more often. This is all custom. I used to buy all of my overlays, but I've been doing this now. It's crazy, 4 or 5 years now, and so I've learned how to do everything myself. It's not great, it's not perfect, but it's getting there, and it's fine. So Bruce Wayne, too much. So trades and offensive gameplay. Mo, you're here. Tell me about offensive gameplay in your league, which I don't even know the name of it. Tell me the name of your league, because I actually don't remember, and I don't think you even mentioned it. I know you were wearing your shirt the other day, but it's the only time I ever heard of it. So we put out brand new merch. That's the word I'm looking for. This is what happens. We do something at 12:07 at night. Brand new merch tonight, man. I'm so excited about the brand new merch. The SPA, tell me about offensive gameplay in the SPA. Are there real tight shackles, or loose shackles, or no shackles? Like, what does offensive gameplay looking like in the SPA? Because we're thinking about, at least I'm playing with the idea of loosening some of the restraints on offensive gameplay for Madden 22, and allowing maybe single back to be a base formation, which currently is not allowed. You got to play a strong, a weak, a near, a far, I farm. What's the other one? Where you got 3 people in the back? Whatever it's called. I can't think of it right now. Those are base. On defense, it's 3-4, 4-3. Those are base. So I'm thinking about adding in 4-4 as a base, adding in nickel as a base on defense, and then adding in single back as a base. Not shotgun. I'm not there yet, but adding in and single back. We have a 3-game run average where guys need to hit 15 rushes per game. Okay. Also limit each snap to 3 audibles per snap. All right. Yeah, Manic, that's my big thing is like, how do we... Madden 22, I think, is starting to get there where you can really create a team in your own image. And it's not just 32 teams trying to recreate the exact same type of team and build the same type of team. Like, you can really create a team that fits your very unique style. And I'm like trying to think of like, how could we loosen things to see that a little bit more? 15-minute quarters. Ooh. Yeah, see, that's we do that. We don't go to 10, but we do to 17. But you also can't run the play clock to 0, so it helps us. But I think we limit ours to 1 change per snap, unless you call an audible, like a physical audible. Then you get 2 changes per snap, and you can't do that every play. It's like, because guys will just draw up their own play at the line of scrimmage. It's like, no, like, you need to run the play that you called. So a majority of the time, you got to run the play you called. Flipping each side, that's fine. But like audibles and hot routes, most of the time, run the play you're called on both sides of the ball. So I think we're really, really close on a lot of that. But I think, Mo, you would agree, Madden 22 is going to allow for some really neat things that you can really see different styles of teams built and created and that you can win with. So I'm trying to think of how can we do that. And trades are, I don't know if me giving you a list is abusing our relationship. I don't want to do that. I got a lot of, I don't know if people believe me. I always feel like I got to put a disclaimer because people use words that they don't really mean. But when I say them, I mean them. I got a lot of love and appreciation for you. And so I never want to abuse our friendship. And, but like EA does for free agency, where your bid gives a number value, if your 4-year contract for $100 million spits out a number value of 122, right? When you exit out, it shows you you're at 122 points or whatever it is. Maybe it's not points, but that's what we always called it, 122 points. If they could do the same for trades, I don't know if you were here earlier when I was talking about this, but like if I could come here to trades and go to like manual trade and like I hit Mike Thomas and then hit submit, like if it would give me a number, again, right now it just shows you the Bears are medium interest in Mike Thomas. That's not right. Bears would be highly interested in Mike Thomas. But if it could give me a number, right, Mike Thomas is worth 100 points. It would be so amazing about we could just create rules saying you both got to hit, within 10% of your points or whatever, right? And you can start to use those in-game systems, like the coaching trees and the coaching abilities with the discounts and different stuff. That's probably never going to get at it, but it's just an idea that I had that would make it easy. But what I'm trying to do, Mo, is right now we have a custom created spreadsheet. We call it a calculator that people fill in with their players' information, gives them a value. Below that, you fill in what you're getting in the trade, gives them a value. And then the center, it compares those two, gives you a percentage. All of our trades have to be within 10% or whatever it is. And it says it's a fair trade or not. And if it's a fair trade, then you submit it and it's good. The problem with that is it has to constantly be updated. It's got to constantly be tweaked. And so it kind of puts a lot of pressure and work on one guy here that runs it for me, that I'm never promised. I'm not promised that he'll be for here forever and ever and ever. And it's not taking into effect the new coaching abilities and trees where people can get aging players at a discount or draft picks more for the draft pick, right? Like all of that would be useless in game because we use a custom trade calculator. So I'm trying to think of a way to move back to some of the in-game stuff to allow us to use some of that stuff. Say that in another way, Maniac. Like, what do you mean? show you a number. I forget nobody can see this, so just talking to myself here. Show you a number per player and allow you ability to change player values by changing dev trait values. Right, option to tweak in game. I'm lost on the last part. It would be awesome if we could just get a number, right? If there's a value on that player, and maybe Madden doesn't do it that way, right? And maybe I'm asking something that would, just doesn't work that way. Very, very real possibility, but that would be amazing if we could get a number or value similar to what we see for free agency, right? That'd be really, really useful and could open up a lot of possibilities. Also, really, really, really want expert. That's not what I'm trying to say. Exportable rosters. It would open up so many possibilities. And just imagine though, like if you could do something like that, like if there was a value attached to a player that you could see in trades, and then like we kind of came up with our rules about how to, and you could just literally go through the league, right? You could just kind of go do a bunch of fake manual trades and just see, oh yeah, this would work. Let me throw it at him, see what he thinks, right? And right now, it's just not something that you can really do. I appreciate that, Mo. You know a lot of really cool people, and I appreciate you thinking of me like that. You're one of the really, really good dudes in this community, and one of the reasons I support league crawlers much as I possibly can. Can't wait to get the new camera, though. I know I've said that, but that's going to be really, really cool to start playing with the new camera and start upping my video game. I upgraded to the 12 Pro thinking this is going to be the trick for me. Yes, it does really great video, amazing video, but it doesn't compare to a nice webcam or a DSLR at all. So, wait, why did it do that? That's too large. Also, it's supposed to be in black and white. I don't know why it's in purple. I'm gonna have to go mess with it again. It's supposed to be in black and white to match everything else. I think that's it. I've sat here and talked to myself for 43 minutes, and y'all, because you came here a little later. But those are the big things I was going to talk to Win about. Again, go watch Win's video on our YouTube channel. He breaks down MLB The Show scouting system, things he thinks we could get from MLB The Show, or at least similar type of things. And then I just really want to think through trades and off-season. So if you guys are watching this later on, leave your comments right here on the video. Hit comment, hit like, hit share, do all that fun stuff. If you're not subscribed, come subscribe. We're building to 1,000, working our way there. But also, I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think as a player here in the OMFL about us possibly opening up some of the things, right? Some of the offensive game plans, and what do you think about the trades ideas and different things that we could do? And then pray for them right after. We'll lay hands on them. It's the 4th of July, so I went with the big red, white, and blue. This one, I admit, this is a little much. It's a little fast paced, but I don't have to look at them. They're to my back. You guys got to look at them. So I love these things. These are my favorite purchase. And when I move into my studio in a couple months, I will have one more pack of these. So I think I have 9. I think 9 come in a pack. So I'll get 18 of them completely. I got big plans. I've been planning this out for the last year and a half or so in my head. So we'll see. Well, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. This is so much better. They're called Nano Leaf lights. I got them online. So I think a year and a half ago, doing my normal YouTube. I'm on YouTube. If I got a spare moment, I'm on YouTube. I'll be honest. I'm either listening to worship music, I'm listening to 2 pastors that I listen to. There's like 2 or 3 like Christian content creators I listen to, just to like understand how are people thinking, what's out there, what content or people creating that's really getting engagement and traction, or I'm watching something around streams, because I'm constantly learning about what settings need to be different, what things can I do different, how can you do things that are creative and different, and just like not what everybody else does, and at the same time keep simple. Like, I'm learning that about me is like super simple. I'm giving you a really long story here, Mo, to answer this question, but I love to do things simple. So this to me is simple. I made a motion background, a fog cover over the top, blah, 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 blah. It's pretty simple to look at. Anyway, a year and a half ago, during my normal YouTube things, this video pops up about, this man cave, and this family is super wealthy. Like, I don't know who they are, crazy wealthy, lots of followers. They built this amazing quote unquote man cave theater room, and they had Nanoleaf had sponsored them. I never heard of Nanoleaf, but Nanoleaf gave them like, I want to say they had like, I'm going to say it wrong. I think they had 100 of these, 100 or 200 of these. The Nanoleaf had sponsored them, and they had put them like, there's this really cool thing that you can do to them where you put like in a corner, you can put one on one wall and one on the other and kind of interconnect them, and it makes this like really cool digital thing. They are amazing. And so I fell in love with them, and just been keeping my eyes on them. And I don't know, Christmas, that's what it was. For Christmas, I told my wife I wanted some of those, so I ordered me a starter pack, $200 for 9 of them. They're amazing. I freaking love them. Get me one more starter pack to go with them. Who knows, maybe more later on. But I now am a big Nanoleaf guy. They make LEDs that don't flicker. So if you see my 2 LED lights that technically are sitting on the back of my couch because I'm in my living room, you can see they flicker a little bit. They kind of look like a candle. Well, Nanoleaf makes lights that don't flicker. So does Elgato. I'm a big Elgato. So all my other stuff is Elgato stands, Elgato ring light. I've got 2 big box lights that are going to be swapped out for 2 Elgato lights. Stream Deck, the works. I got digital Stream Deck. I want the real Stream Deck too. Anyway, now I'm totally rambling. I'm a big Nanoleaf guy. They came out with some new products. I got the squares because everybody gets hexagons. I hate hexagons, not because I got anything against hexagon. They've never done me anything personally. It's just everybody has hexagon shapes, hexagon sound things, hexagons on their streams. I'm over hexagons. Everybody's got them. So I like squares. And so I got the canvas lights, but they also make a bunch of other, or 3 or 4 other products. One of them that they just came out with is these hexagons that look like wood. So if they're off, they literally look like a piece of wooden art on your wall, and then they turn on, and they're LEDs. They only light up. They're not colors. They're just like cool light to warm light and anything in between. And I don't know why I'm talking so much. There's another company out there that makes what is it called? Light beams? Light FX, I think it's called Light FX or Beam FX. It's basically a light beam, and it's like a stick, like a LED stick that you can stick together. And if you ever, if you're into streaming like I am, you probably follow Alpha Gaming and Alpha Streaming, all that stuff. I'm a big fan of him. He has them in the corners of his rooms, and they're amazing. But then on the last stream about these wooden panels from Nanoleaf, they tease that they're coming out with a bar or a beam light. So fingers crossed they'll come up with a beam light after I build my studio, and I have some cool beam lights, because I just want some cool beams I can put on each. I got a picture in my head of what I'm building. I'm gonna get me some shadow boxes for a couple of my cool jerseys I have. Gonna have them on the wall. I'm gonna order me some big pieces of art. I got a ton of like Saints helmets and Saints gear. I just want to build me like a couple setups, like my streaming desk setup, and then I want to have something on one wall, like on the back wall, and then something on like a side wall. And so I kind of have like 3 different areas that I can shoot videos from. That's the plan. That's the dream. So I got a vision in my head that I got to get there. So I love your office, bro. You got such a cool office. I'm jealous of you and Bradley, man. You guys have super cool offices. I'm in my living room. We have a 3-bedroom house, but humans in all of them. And so my oldest son's going to be moving out later this year. And when he does, we're going to turn his room into the studio. The big long-term plan is we have not purchased this house yet. We're renting this house. The plan is to purchase this house. We had a home where we moved from. Long story that nobody wants to hear. But in the process of like selling that home, that's when the market tanked. Just all the stuff that came with that. We had to wait so many years before we could buy again. We're now free to buy again. Now we just got to put up the money to buy again. So we're going to be buying this house, and it has a large 2-story shed. I call it a shed. It's not a shed. It's like a semi-finished apartment out here. It's like used as a garage at the bottom, and the top is like a unfinished game room. And the idea would be to buy a shed, move all the sheddy stuff out of there, and completely finish that thing. Make it an apartment at the bottom, like a mother-in-law suite, and then at the top make it a game room studio, stream room, and that would be the long-term plan. But that's going to take a lot of money, which old Nate don't make right now. So being a pastor and working a full-time job and doing streaming, ain't got that kind of cash flow yet. But that's the long-term, like dream plan. The short-term plan is we're going to turn that spare bedroom into a studio / spare bedroom when people come over. It looks great right now, Mo. It looks like super like classy, upscale. That's the word I was kind of looking for. Like it looks really classy, so I like it. So does Bradley's. Like Bradley's is super cool too. And you guys just look like you look like grown-ups. I don't look like a grown-up. I just look like a dude who put lights on his living room wall and trying to figure some stuff out. So I can't wait to have my own room. Plus I got it, like I'm in the living room. Literally my wife is on the other side of the wall that these lights are on. So it's like I got to keep it toned down. I can't be my normal rambunctious self. So one day I'll get to move into my bedroom over there. I can make some noise. So it should be fun. I love talking streams. I love just talking ideas and talking through some different things, and it should be cool. I always try to share just like a little bit of a thought, and so if you want to catch my personal stream that came out, I say stream. It's not a stream. I don't do streams on my personal channel, but my personal video that dropped today. It's called Endure. There's the word that I was looking for. And Endure is all about, we take a look at Paul's last letter, 2 Timothy, that he wrote. And so he writes this from prison. He knows life is coming to the end. This is the book where he says, run your race with joy. He's run his race, and he's writing to Timothy to come spend one last time. And the concept is having an enduring faith that also builds enduring relationships, because all Paul really wanted, he talks about how everybody leaves him. God is the only thing that it brings him comfort. God is his only companion, but he wants Timothy to come back, spend some time with him before his time is up. And so it all talks about how we make our life matter is by building deep, enduring relationships, which are hard, right, Maniac? Me and Maniac have been building what we would call an enduring relationship over the last couple years. And Maniac, Mo used to be I think Maniac, they called you a game changer back in that day. So he used to be a part of that program. I don't know how y'all get picked for that. I think it's super cool. There's no shade or salt thrown. I think it's awesome. And knowing that humans like you, men like you are a part of that program makes me know that it's in good hands, right? It's not just people that are part of those programs who aren't really going to have a good, clear mind about where this franchise could go. So it makes me feel good that you guys are part of that, and I'm glad you are too, Mo. I need to go submit my feedback. I never did, mainly because I don't like how you have to do feedback there, but I need to go do that tomorrow. So build enduring relationships, make your life count. And if you want to check that video out, go check it out. Home Church 217. It will be changing. It used to be my name, then went to Home Church. I think I'm going back. I think I'm going to finish up my logo. I think I'm going to move everything back and just have one of my playlists as my Home Church videos, my own personal website, natelejeune.com. It'll have a playlist on there. I think I'm just going to kind of build that brand and see where it goes. And for my church community, we have a Facebook, we have an app, and like so people can have those brands to stay up with the actual church brand, but just kind of build my own personal brand. We'll see how it goes. And I really want to get GrownFolks to 500. Actually, I really want to get to 1,000. But 1,000 feels unreachable. So right now, we're 140 away. And so the goal is that we'll get to 140 before this is all said and done. I got to pump out some news next week. It's been too long. It's just I'm the only content creator right now, so it's been hard to pump out some news, but we'll get it. And then hope that I can go find me about 2 more maniacs, about 3 or 4 bows. It's going to be a part of the OMFL. That's all I need. And then we'll be good to go. So, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. A lot of love for both of you. And I hope you had a great 4th. I hope that you're off tomorrow like I am. You can enjoy one last day of relaxation. Tomorrow night, this game on your screen, that's what I'll have. And I'll play. So, dude, come do it, man. Again, you and I haven't talked a ton of, Christianity, that kind of stuff. I say this isn't great words. And so words matter, right? Language matters. It's easy and lazy of me to say radical views, different views. I think I have very simple biblical views. And I'm trying to embrace that about me. I'm a super simple dude. I have a simple mind. The Bible says in Acts, I read through Acts right now, Jesus builds the first church. Sorry about that. Empowers the disciples. They're doing works. They get arrested. They told them not to talk about Jesus. They keep doing works. They get arrested again. These religious leaders are talking to the disciples, and the Bible says they observed that they were common men, uneducated common men. That's moi. That is me. I'm super, super simple. So I have pretty super simple videos, ideas, super church ideas, simple church. I'm going to spit this all out. Just stick with me. Super simple church ideas. And I just think that it's 2021. God has kind of called me and my wife to build a community that puts the resources back in the neighborhood, back in the community, meets the needs of people, and doesn't go to a building, a brand, marketing, salaries. Even though, look, one day I hope I can pull the salary. My dream job is that I'm working part-time, streaming part-time, making videos part-time, and pulling a part-time salary from my church, kind of multiple streams of income to take care of my family, not just a pastor, not just, working off of other people's backs. And so that's why we do home church. That's why it's called home church. We literally tomorrow night will meet in my home right here. Without all this stuff set up, we turn on worship music. We turn the lights down. We let people worship their own way. My wife has a hot meal when people get here. So we sit and we eat. We enjoy great conversations. And then right now we're walking through a Bible study. And then we're going to start a new Bible study series in August. And we're actually going to move from Monday nights to Wednesday nights starting in August. Just trying to make it a little bit easier for people. So. No, totally, Mo. Everything you just said makes so much sense. I think, look, a little bit of my personal story is I grew up in a single mother home. Dad left when I was 4 and a half. I had to grow up very, very fast. Mom's family completely disowned us. We moved 20, 25 times, all in the general area, but just homes. I went to 12 to 14 different schools. I didn't grow up with any family, just mom, brother. Because of that, I didn't go to the same schools. I didn't grow up with the same friends. I usually was the poor white kid at all majority black neighborhoods, black schools. So, I definitely experienced my version of what skin color hatred is like. I think it's easy to call it racism, whatever. I'm not trying to make anybody uncomfortable with what it's like to be treated differently because you look differently, because in my schools, my neighborhoods, I look differently. Mom got remarried when I was about 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. He introduced us to Christianity. Outside of that, we just kind of knew Catholicism. The longest story of that is I kind of built a relationship with God. There's a long story there, but I built a relationship with God as a young teenager, was kind of prophesied, called to preach. I was nervous. Nervous is not fair. I was scared to death to talk about anything. I would take F's in high school if I knew I had to get in front of the class and talk. I just super shy, I still struggle with self-doubt, self-image, all that fun stuff that kind of comes from my personal struggles. Stepdad, walked away from God, was an alcoholic, very abusive, physically and mentally abusive. There were physical fights between him and my mom that I would have to break up. Just a lot of horror stories there. I was 17, very similar. I say that, I don't know your story, just what I read, but similar type of situation. My mom started going to a new church. I started going with her. People were very rude to her there, embarrassed her one afternoon around money, because my mom was a single mom, business owner, raising 4 kids by herself with no child support, no help from a man. She was an entrepreneur, building her own business. And these people embarrassed her. And I was like, if that's God and religion, deuces, I'm out. And so I did. I walked away when I was 17 till I was 24. And there's a long story here that I will not bore anybody, but I opened up a pet store. My family's in the pet industry, mom and dad. My dad opened me up a business. I started a business next to a young woman who was our age that we befriended. Her pastor came over, had a really cool car. He and I kind of connected over the car. He had a Mini Cooper. I love cars, talked about the car. Long and short of it, he taught my wife a Bible study. My wife knew nothing except for Catholic. She wanted to be baptized. We went to the church to be baptized. Decided that afternoon that was going to be our home. We were going to change our lives, and we did. We completely changed our lives. Started going there quickly. Within 6 months, started helping with the youth group. I started doing sports. Within a year, they made me youth pastor. I was a nobody from nowhere. I got to start speaking and preaching. There's a story in there about how I closed my business because my wife had cancer. God gave me a job doing fundraisers. I got some of the most amazing training about how to speak in front of people, and kind of started to gain my confidence. At the same time, became a youth pastor, got to start practicing in that a lot. And then 3 years after being a youth pastor, got hired on full-time at this church. So I just took you the super scenic route to say, we have seen behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, on the side of the scenes. We've seen it all. My wife was forced to do finances for this small church, as part of my pay, which was, I left a $2,000 a month job, could have made $100,000 in commission that year to take $400 a week at this church. And just big sacrifices. We just leaped, we jumped. And so we've seen it all. And we've seen, even leadership, spiritual leadership, abuse relationships, abuse power. I've seen it all. And then, our story kind of that led us here is that we were youth pastors for over 10 years. We took 12 kids. God helped us, blessed us. We were super blessed. And we built a youth group up of over 100 in a church that ran 250. So if you know anything about the church world, those are pretty big percentages. Usually that doesn't happen. But we were blessed, built a youth group of over 100, had our own building, our own services, our own staff, our own everything. I was full-time, living my dream job. I was in high schools every week, 3 or 4 high schools. I was in 3 high schools and 1 middle school every single week, doing Bible studies, service every single week, plus the normal youth pastor stuff, football games on Fridays. Did like Friday night lights is what we called it, where after the football games, home football games, all the kids would come to our house, invite their friends, and just kind of hang out at our house. Anyway, it was my dream job, and we felt God called us to New Orleans, and so we did. We quit our dream job. We sold our first home, packed up our kids, packed up a U-Haul, and we were kind of cut off from that church when that happened, and moved here with nothing, and just started a brand new life. We moved here to be part of a church plant. None of it worked. Left that church within a year. Those people also cut us off, and we've been here now 8 years, just kind of creating a life and digging out a life and getting us. That's why the OMFL, the GrownFolks, has been such a big piece for me, because it's been my constant community for 20 years now, and I haven't really had in life a constant community. So anyway, there's my bits and pieces of my testimony. So Mo, I would love to get you to come check us out, get you to come hang out with us, and anything we can do to support you or your wife. Again, I know I only know you on the internet. We've only talked 4 times, but I love real easy. That's kind of a strength and a weakness. I open up my heart, my life real easy to people, but you just seem like good people. If there's anything we can ever do personally as a league, as a community, or even my church community, we'd love to do that. I know Maniac, you've been on a journey, right? And I've watched you really over the last probably 4 months start taking some leaps in your spiritual walk and your mental health walk, and I'm just proud of you as your friend, and glad you're still here, because I know that was not always the case for a little bit there. So it's an honor to have you here. All right, I've just rambled. I love you guys. It's gonna be terrible for those guys who watch this after. They're gonna be like, "What is this all about? This is not Madden or OMFL at all." But this is what we do, man. Yeah. I wish I could have helped my kids better. I got a 19-year-old that sometimes I'm like, man. I told my wife, I was like, "Your eggs are bad. I don't know what you did, but your eggs are bad." Because that one got messed up. But it happens sometimes. He's a good kid. Just life is tough, man. And I can't imagine being a kid in this day and age. But we were built for this. We were built to make it in this. We were built to. We've got all the resources that we need. God would not have put us in this time and us not have what it takes to allow His light to shine. When we're weak, He's strong. And it's living in that abundance. It's living in that abundance of love and mercy and grace, not just financial abundance, but that is a part of it, but abundance of joy and peace and all that. And I heard Pastor Bill Johnson, who's one of the pastors I follow a lot. He said, if our dreams bring anxiety, worry, and stress into our lives, then yes, it does. If your dreams brings anxiety, stress into your life, then it's not from God, and you're not doing it right. Our dreams should push us, of course, and motivate us, but at the same time, we're supposed to be really, what's the word I'm looking for? Content in where we are. And that really convicted me, because I'm always like, if I had this, I could do this. If I had that, I could do this. And it lives from this deficit, right? This life of deficit. Like, I'm never enough. I don't have enough. I can't be successful because I don't have A, B, and C, and He hasn't given me A, B, and C. And I'm constantly like praying and living in my relationship with Him and relationship with others from a deficit. And it's just not, that's not living a life of abundance, right? Living a life of abundance is being content in where I am in life, and that I actually have everything that it takes to be successful in this moment. This is the whole parable of, be a good ruler, a good steward of a little, I'll give you a lot, right? And it's investing in what we do have to create more in a way that I'm living in the abundance of God at all times. So, all right, I'm going to stop preaching it up. I love you guys, for real this time. I'll see you tomorrow night as we either play some Madden or some PUBG. I'll decide tomorrow night. We'll see who's all on. All right, peace and love.